Khan, this is the book of Micah 2 and 10, and it says this: Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction.
Very sad about doing this, but kind of wanted to document it.
A woman in Florida is recording the moment she has decided to do something really hard.
Because it does seem like one of the few ways that we can achieve economic fairness by just having my husband be in the house by himself and taking down all evidence that he has a black family.
Her name is Abina Horton. She is a labor and employment attorney, and this is her husband, Alex Horton, an artist. Last June, they set out to get an appraisal of their home in Jacksonville, Florida, hoping to refinance and pay down the mortgage. A home filled with books and photos and love. Her family, his family. But when the appraiser came, Abina was there and said she felt something unsettling.
It clicked in my mind almost immediately that I understand what the issue was here. Why did I let myself forget that I live in America as a black person?
Khan Shalom, Makim Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start by saying, Kal Halaliam La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Wahara Kodash. Second, let the elders that rule well become worthy of double honors, especially they that labor in the word and doctrine, which should be the apostles and the elders of Great Milton, GMS. Alright? And third, I want to say peace and salutation to all you Akims in the highways and byways that continue to push this truth in honesty and sincerity in the fear of the name of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Bahashem Kodash. Khan, my name is Agabaga. Back again with another presentation. This video, I'm going to tell this video, arise, for this not your rest. You see? Khan. And as it is, the scripture that I open up with, Micah 2 and 10, it goes into it, right? So it says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, for it shall destroy you. And when you go into that word destroy, like as I have it in the blue letter, the Hebrew word there is a chabal.
Strong's H2254. Chaval.
Or haval, right? And it says to bind, right? Kal, to bind, to take pledge, lay to pledge, Kal, to hold by a pledge, take in pledge, hold in pledge, right? To give a pledge, become pledged, to destroy, spoil, deal corruptly, offend. You see? So that's what this place is for us. Really, this place is really more. It's basically like a spell upon us, right? Because it says right here, to bind, because what a spell does, a spell holds a bind on you. It holds a bind on you that you can't escape, right? That's what a spell does. And it says to take a pledge, lay a pledge, to hold by a pledge, to take in pledge, hold in pledge. It says in fall, to give a pledge, become pledged. You see? To destroy, spoil, deal corruptly, offend. To spoil, corrupt, offend. To be ruined. To destroy, ruin. To be ruined, be broken. You see, and as you can see, like you can tell in her eyes that, as in she is really, she has been through it, man. She's been catching hell, and like it reflects in her eyes, you see. And that's what this place has done to us, man. This place is not our rest. This place, America, but beyond the grid, is not our rest. This place was meant for us, to serve a punishment, to serve a punishment, and to humble us down, to humble us, and to make us cry unto our Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bashmi Shai, to come and save us, because this place is completely and utter hell, as in, it is hell in the purest form of the word, because, as in, you have no rights, you have no belongings, everything that you have, everything that you think you have really is not yours, so like, as in, so that tells you, that this place is not for us to build. This is not a place for us to build. See, because it says, to destroy, ruin, to be ruined, be broken, to bring forth travail, to wreath, twist, travail. So this place is really, this place was meant this place was meant to destroy us. You see, this is not our rest. But you have some of people, especially the so-called black women, who thinks that somehow, some way, as in she can, she can go ahead, and find out, find a loophole, but she's not going to find a loophole, okay? Because this is the word of Yahweh Shemel Shai, and with His word, there's no shadow of doubt, okay? This word, His word is absolutely complete. You see? So going back to it, it says, Micah 2:10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. Okay, and that sort of destruction, then our people have been going through that for the past, for the past 500 years, or more than 500 years, man. Since the so-called white man brought, stepped foot on the shores of America, it has been nothing but pure hell for our people. You see, even going back before that. You see. So I'm gonna play this video, and I'm gonna bring out a few scripts here and there, and Lord willing, this becomes an infant elect. Khan Shalom.
That I need to take some extra steps to get a fair result.
The appraisal comes back. It is shockingly low. Even the bank couldn't make sense of that number. Coming out of the first appraisal, was it rage? Was it exhaustion?
It was exhaustion, I would say. This person is being so petty and hateful, and he's wasting my time.
So she decided to get a second appraisal with a new appraiser. Same house, but something different.
Hey, it's Abena again, and back with another edition of the things that we are taking down from our walls. There are a few things in my house that are demonstrably black. So clearly the pictures...
The research says demonstrably. That word demonstrably goes back to the word demon. Okay, and that shows you right there that that word black, is nothing but death. That word black is really a spell on our people. These people are people, cleave onto that word black, but really, when you know who you are, you know that you're not black. Okay, your hair is black, but your skin color is brown. So calling yourself black, that's already, that's that means that you're still under the spell. Okay, the spell of what? The spell of not knowing who you are. You see?
we have all over the house with all of our family members, with my grandmother getting married back in the 40s. We have the picture of Charlie Bolden, who's an African-American astronaut. Pictures of me when I was a baby. Black Panther.
We both put away pictures, and it's like, these are people I love, these are people I care about, and I need to hide them. That was very tough.
And then, of course, the primary thing that we did was remove both me and my son from the home during the second appraisal.
But when you're doing this, what does that do to the spirit?
It's crushing the spirit, of course. I'm ashamed of it. I'll be honest. I'm ashamed of the fact that my son will see that this is something that I did.
And that's not his, okay, that's not her, well, that's not her son, okay? Her son, you are who your father is, okay? So, like, really, the thing about our people is, like, as in they have this entitlement that they think, especially the so-called black women, she thinks she actually has, she believes, or she's convinced that, that she actually is, that she has a role in her child. Really, the father is supposed to, the father, you are who your father is. The woman is just there to be, the woman is just there, to be as a, to basically, to be a to be, how do you say it, an incubator, an incubator for the sperm, and basically, as in to, to give her egg, which becomes the body, but the man is the one that carries the seed. So her children really are not her children, they are her husbands, you see. So the children that she has with with her Caucasian husband, those children will be Caucasians, you see. So these Deuteronomy 12 verse 8, and says, ye shall not do after all the things that we do here this day, every man whatsoever is right in his own eyes. The point is in the next verse 9 says, for ye are not as yet come to the rest, for ye are not as yet come to the rest unto the inheritance which the Lord Yahweh your power giveth you. You see, so this is not our place, to decide, to make to make plans, to make to have a destiny, to have a lineage, to have posterity. You see, this is just a place for us, to wait for our Messiah, to wait for our Savior to come back and save us from this place. Okay, this is not our rest. This is not our place for us to build. You see, but these so-called black women, they have it. They're completely out of their minds. The thing that actually they can make the society in this place, but the thing is, like, they're gonna learn the hard way that this is not theirs to make. Okay, so read again. Deuteronomy 12 verse 9, it says, for ye are not as yet come to the rest and to the inheritance which Yahweh your power giveth you, and that will only come when Yahweh Shai comes back, and makes his second return, and destroy, and take off the hedge of the so-called white man Esau Edom, and take off his hedge that that he's had for all this time, for all these centuries. Yahweh Shai is the one that's gonna come around and take back, and take back the blessing that he gave unto Isaac, he gave unto Esau when he was Isaac. You see, only him, only he has the power to actually come back and do that. We have no power to be able to make our own decision in this place. You see,
I'm ashamed to say that I really wanted to refinance and pay off my house sooner and have full equity in my home. And so I was willing to put up with that indignity to do it because I knew it was going to be effective. So it was a combination of pragmatism and deep and profound sadness.
And the next verse says, but when ye go over, this Deuteronomy 12 verse 10, it says, but when ye go over Jordan and dwell in the land which Yahweh your power giveth you to inherit, and when he giveth you rest from all your enemies round about, so that ye dwell in safety. Okay, now that happened back, when our people got into the promised land. When the two witnesses, or the two spies, were able to actually go and were able to see it. I believe it was Caleb, and I can't remember the other brother's name. But one of them was Caleb and Joshua, if I'm not mistaken. You see, it was Caleb and I believe it was Caleb and Joshua. But yeah, so so that was back then. But now the promised land is going to be the kingdom of heaven. Okay, so back then, it was the land of Canaan, which was Israel. But now we're coming into the true promised land, our true inheritance, which will be the kingdom of heaven, and that will be the whole world, the whole planet Earth. You see, so that's what we're coming into. But our people, people have been in this place for so long. Like Apostle Hart said, our people have been in America for so long. They have forgotten who they are. They've forgotten their true power. So as in, they walk in blindness. They don't know who's coming or where's going. You see, but like the time's coming when the Lord Yahweh is actually going to bring the kingdom of heaven, which is the promised land, and we will dwell in it safely. We won't have to worry about our wealthy being debased, like the case for her, because as in, what happened to her is like her house got debased because she is a so-called black woman. But really, what she did, she made a mistake by thinking, because she could get with the so-called white man, she thought that she could escape the curses, but she can't. You see?
Doing that.
She took down all the photos of her family, replacing them only with photos of her husband and his white family. and he is the person in the home when the new appraiser comes. And when the second appraisal comes back, the value of their house has shot up more than $100,000, a 40% increase.
It was primarily financial relief. I'm just glad that we're going to get the rate that we want. And then I think it was about 15 seconds later when the tears came, because we realized just how much more removing that variable increased the value of our home.
See, even with that, then she feels she feels related because she has a so-called she has a so-called white man, to lean upon, to get her house appraised, but she still doesn't understand that she's under the curses. You see, so that's why then it's funny, like people like this who actually, like, then they take the life so seriously. Then they think that then they're up in there, but really, like, they were just meant for us to make to make videos for to make videos of, and to make an example out of. See, so it's crazy how this works, man. But yeah, this book of Haggai 1:6 and says, ye have sown much and bringing little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe, I clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put into a bag with holes. You see. So I mean, even though as in this woman, she has, like, all her things in line. She probably has, like, like all that. She went to school. She got her master's degrees. She got a good education, as you can tell. She was right with the law. She did everything right. But yet, all that work, all that dedication, and all that time that she spent, it all goes for nothing. As in she has sown in much, but she brings in a little. You see, so all that time that she was she thought that she was living the American dream. She really was being she was being fooled. And now that the reality kicks in, she can't find as in she's lost of word, and she's confounded because the whole time she was living a lie. You see, because the Bible tells you, then the Bible tells you that we're under the curses, and there's no way to escape the curses. You see, you should get that in the book of Deuteronomy 28:45. Let's go back. It's like, yeah. (28) and verse 5. It's like 45 and verse 45. Yeah, come on. Khan says this, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenedst not unto the voice of the Lord Yahweh, thy power, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. You see, so, like, no matter where you are, no matter what you do, even if you get with a so-called Caucasian man, a so-called white man, with the Edomite, it doesn't matter what you do, you cannot escape the curses. You can't escape these curses, man. Okay, that's how it is. You see? And one of the curses is this. The other curse is actually in the book of the same chapter 28 verse 38. It says this. It says so this book of Deuteronomy 28 verse 38 says, thou shalt carry much seed out of the field. Thou shalt carry much seed out into the field, and shall gather but little, for the locust shall consume it. You see, so this woman, she had a house, she had a whole mortgage paid off. She had a home, like, a nice, real estate property. But then, when it was time to get an appraisal, she found out that that the house that she has, was worth less than what she thought it was because she's a so-called black woman. She's an Israelite. Yet, as in, so that tells you, that these crosses will follow us no matter what we do, even if we give a score. You don't mind what I mean? The crosses will follow you all the way.
To know just how much, me personally, I was devaluing the home just by sitting in it, just by living my life, just by paying my mortgage, just by raising my son there.
After she posted her story on Facebook, there was a deluge of comments and people who said they had tried similar experiments with similar results. Andre Perry, a fellow at the Brookings Institution, wrote the book Know Your Price. He studies the effects of discrimination in housing.
What we found after controlling for education, crime, walkability, and all those fancy Zillow metrics, that homes in black neighborhoods are devalued by 23%, and cumulatively, that's about $156 billion in lost equity. $156 billion would have financed more than 4 million small businesses. It would have paid for more than 8 million college degrees. That discrimination is leading to a widening of the wealth gap. And so one can argue that we're in worse shape than we were 20, 30, 40 years ago.
Which made me think about an investigation ABC News did long ago. One we hoped back then would open all our eyes.
Prime Time. From New York, Diane Sawyer.
Good evening. We bring you the results of a primetime investigation.
1, 2, 3, 4, check.
We brought in 2 young professional housing testers, accompanied by hidden cameras. Here's how we started. Meet John Cunin and Glenn Brewer. They're both from the Midwest. They went to Big Ten schools, grew up in middle-class families, even play on the same softball team. They're friends. 2 young men whose lives are virtually the same in every way but one, the one you can see. A few months ago, John and Glenn agreed to pack their bags and help with our investigation. Our question, how much difference does the color of your skin make in everyday life in America? John and Glenn need to find some place to live. John goes first.
So 1 bedroom, it's got air conditioning.
The manager gives John a set of keys.
The key system works, here's your master. Okay.
John tours the vacant apartment. He's told it's available immediately.
Got a couple other places I'm going to look at, and if I decide on this one, I'll be back. I'll have this filled up. Okay?
Okay, I appreciate it.
All right.
John leaves. And listen to what happens when Glenn walks in a few minutes later. Suddenly,
The apartment has been rented?
the manager explains that regrettably, early that morning, a woman paid a deposit on the last available apartment.
Oh, called in earlier this morning?
There's nothing for Glenn to see, so he leaves.
Bye-bye. You too. Okay.
We decide to go in search of an explanation. May we ask you a couple of questions? These 2 gentlemen came in, and when this one came in, you gave him keys to an apartment, 1 bedroom with air conditioning. But when this gentleman came in 10 minutes later, you said there was no apartment available.
No, I told this gentleman I had a call on the apartment.
But we pointed out what he had said. He had told Glenn the apartment had been rented by a woman that morning. Yet he showed John the apartment in the afternoon.
Oh, ma'am, I am not prejudiced. I got Mexican, I got Jewish, my God.
How many black people in this apartment?
There's none.
Later, Glenn remembered the manager's parting words.
He said, "Bless you both." And that infuriated me. How dare you wish blessings on me after you have just insulted me, after you have just told me that I can't live here because of the color of my skin.
And here is what happened when the 2 men set out to look at purchasing a car. They ask about the same red convertible, same salesman. How much down payment is needed?
What do they usually ask down?
Anywhere from 10 to 20%. It just depends, sure. Well, normally the banks want anywhere from 20 to 25%. So you're looking at a couple grand there.
Already, John's advantage is as much as $1,000. And what about the price of the car?
You could probably pick it up for somewhere around the 9 range.
9?
I mean, if I could get you in the car for, say, 95 even, so you should be interested.
Since we heard all of this from the van, we decided to get out and see if we could get some answers. And we asked him why John and Glenn were quoted different figures.
Well, they're all different. It just depends.
Two guys come in looking at the same car. What's the difference? For him, the banks will do 10 to 20. For him, 20, 25? What's the difference?
Depends on the other.
It's the same fucking car. Oh man, this is a damn devil, man. Anyway, so this Jeremiah 10 and 18 says, "For thus saith Yahweh, behold, I will sling out the inhabitants of the land at this once, and will distress them that they may find it so." You see, and that's how, we have been slung out of the land by the Lord Yahweh Shemashai, because of course, we went off, by not obeying the laws, statutes and commandments of the Heavenly Father. So right now we're getting our punishment for that. You see, and that's why we're in this predicament. See, the next verse says, "Woe is me for my hurt, my wound is grievous, but I said, truly is a grief, and I must bear it." You see, and that's why the elect are saying, the elect of the Lord will know, will understand why we are in this predicament, and why we must bear it, because it is the indignation of the Lord. See, even Job said, though he slay me, yet will I maintain my trust in him. Right? Next verse says, "My tabernacle is spoiled, and all my cords are broken. My children are gone up from are gone forth of me, and they are not. There is none to stretch forth my tent anymore, and to set up my curtains." See? So then also from there, I'd like to grab the same book, Jeremiah, the 9th chapter, was 19 verse. So this Jeremiah 9 verse 19 says, "For a voice of wailing is heard." For our voice of wailing is heard out of Zion. How are we spoiled? We are greatly compounded. See, so like going back to the so-called black woman, she couldn't get her home appraised right because she was in the house. She had her pictures in the house, but until she took out, like all her resemblance under the house, that's when she was able to get the house appraised, to a fair price. So the same also with this so-called black man. He's been trying to get a rental place, but he couldn't get in. Try to get a car, but he was charged extra for it. So these are all to show you, that as in that people have been greatly confounded. See, it says, "For our voice of wailing is heard out of Zion. How are we spoiled? We are greatly compounded, because we have forsaken the land, because our dwellings have cast us out." You see, Khan.
They're looking at the same vehicle.
Oh, okay.
And here we are today in new times and a new conversation about race. We decided to try to find Glenn and John again.
Hello.
Almost 30 years. Can we believe it? The report we did together has been played in classrooms and diversity seminars for the past 3 decades.
And I remember at the time, even some people talking to me after saying like, well, that took me out of the denial phase. And so this idea that they were denying that racism even existed in this country.
But for these two men, that experience is as vivid as yesterday.
I just remember in that incident that particular gentleman gave me the master key for the units in that complex. Not that, just said, if the other key doesn't work, here's your master. I mean, I remember that vividly, and just what a striking difference that really was.
When you start affecting people's pocketbooks, their wallets, I think that has a serious impact on their life.
You remember after we screened the piece, you said to me, I knew that there was bias. I knew bias was at work. I just didn't know how much nicer.
Khan. So this is the book of Isaiah, verse 18, and says, "Come now, and let us reason together, saith Yahweh. Though your sins be as scarlet," because that's why we in this position that we are. because of our sins. See, it says, though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool. Next verse. If ye be willing and obedient, ye shall eat the good of the land. You see, but that's what the 2/3 of people can understand. People are so hard-headed, they're so stiff-necked that they will not accept these precepts. It says, if ye be willing and obedient, ye shall eat the good of the land. Next verse. But if ye refuse and rebel, ye shall be devoured by the sword, for the mouth of Yahweh has spoken it. You see, that's why you cannot escape what the Lord, the word of Yahweh Bashim Yashai says. The word of Yahweh Bashim Yashai is final, is set in stone, and you cannot escape it, no matter where you are. This man, as in two men, as in, even though they live in the same world, they live in two different dimensions. You see, so I mean, like, that shows you, that you can't live, you can't escape, as in the word of the Lord, because we are bound by His word, because we are His people, and we made a covenant with Him that's everlasting. That's an everlasting covenant. You see. So then I'm go ahead and end it there. When I say Kal Halaliam La Yahweh Bahashim Yawashai Buhar Kakodash. Let the elders that rule kind of worthy their honors, especially the labor and doctrine, should be the person elders of Muslim GMS. I say peace and salutation to all the Akims that all the Akim and highways and byways that continue to push this truth and honest sincerity. And they see the name of Yahweh Bahashim Yawashai Bahashim Kakodash. My name is Al Gabarga from GMS Toronto. Until next time, I'll say Shalom to the Shalom.